The challenge of being a creator and wanting to share your passion with the world while also needing to feed yourself is something that many YouTubers know well. Unfortunately, we still live in a time where it's relatively difficult to get equal medium of trade, i.e. money, for the value and time that we put into our creations, regardless of how valiant or good our intentions might be. Though many of us are aware that you can still earn off of your content, even if not equal value to the work you put into it, through things such as monetization. But when you're a smaller YouTuber, options like that actually have a lot of downsides to them. And furthermore, many people such as myself want to be the change we want to see in the world, where we're not supporting the unscrupulous ideas around advertisement and product placement. So what do you think channels in my position should do? How should we grow ourselves while still trying to remain the change we want to see in the world?
An idea
can escape.
Ideas are bulletproof.
Hello everyone, welcome back to ALifeLearned. My name is Becca, and today I'm depending on your advice in terms of where I should take my channel next. I started my channel with the intent to eventually build it up to being part of my speaking career, not necessarily as a main source of income, but as a supplement to help me in supporting myself as I try to spend my life sharing my passion to help other people. And as many are already aware, I'm currently on disability assistance, but it's only temporary, and I really do want to get back to supporting myself. I'm currently working on that now, but I still have over a year of work to do in order to get well enough to work full-time again. So in the meantime, with the idea that I'm on assistance and currently struggling, a number of people have suggested that I monetize my videos and have even said that they would be happy to interact with some of the ads in order to try and help support me. And I've even had a few exceptionally kind followers go over to my donation button and help me out a few times in my first year when my assistance was a lot lower and I was struggling a lot more. And boy, were they a godsend. But a lot of people don't really like interacting with that donation button because it's PayPal and they like to take a lot of transaction fees, which is totally understandable, so it's obviously not a long-term option. So of course, I've tried to research other ways to earn from my desire and passion to help people through YouTube, and to my exceptional frustration, most all of the sources that I've come up with have all said basically the same thing, that I need to build my audience in order to build my ad revenue. And though I am trying to build up my audience, of course, I'm mentally ill, as I've told you guys many times, so I can't really work full-time on my channel the way I'd like to, and there's actually a lot of other smaller YouTubers in similar positions to me, not necessarily due to mental illness, but for one reason or another, they can't work full-time on their channels, and thus they can't put out the content they'd otherwise like to, but we do eventually intend to do that in the future. But more importantly, to address the ad side of my research results and the fact that it was saying I should go for ad revenue, as well as the fact that others were saying they'd be willing to support me through interacting with ads on my channel. That is such an incredibly kind and compassionate thing for you to offer. Thank you so much. But as I've been saying to you guys many times before, I really do want to be the change that I want to see in the world. And part of that change is not supporting the lack of transparency and overall manipulative mindset that are key factors in advertising and product placement these days. For decades now, ads have been tailored to get your attention without any real respect for the actual content that they're sharing within the ad. From the specific colors to the images to the choice words that they use, it's all put together to manipulate and use what's called the peripheral route of communication to subconsciously convince you to consume things that for the most part you otherwise didn't need. Many different facts about our psychology are used against us, and methods such as operant conditioning are applied to convince us that we need or want something that we really don't. So the purpose of advertisement is not to actually show you what you're buying, but to just convince you to buy it. It is not transparent by any means. And this idea is further stretched by YouTube allowing people to think that in dealing with advertisements, they're actually offering support to their fellow YouTubers, when the support that comes from AdSense is actually quite minuscule, no matter how big you are. And again, it's a promotion of consumerism and manipulation. Furthermore, it's exceptionally bad for smaller YouTubers because you can only actually cash out when your limit reaches a full $100, and you only earn when people directly interact with your ads. It has nothing to do with just views. So ads on YouTube are basically the same as ads anywhere else. They only have one purpose: to sell you something, not to do anything else they claim, such as offering reasonable support to your favorite YouTubers. And furthermore, with the recent controversial change we are all very aware about, where they'll only add ads to very specific content that they choose, that makes it that much more unreliable as a way to earn as a creator. But despite this, with the corporate and consumerist world that we live in today, many fellow creators feel pigeonholed into having no choice but to participate in some kind of AdSense, advertising, or product placement in order to support themselves. And though I can empathize with why someone might feel that way, I really do want to be the change I want to see in the world, and with that, not support consumerism or their current ad culture culture just to get by. It's obviously not the easy way to make money as a creator, but accepting the easy ways and going the obvious routes isn't how change happens. Half of making change is being the change. It means creating the change. It means finding a new way to do things. So with that in mind, and the fact that I'm really trying to promote on this channel the ideas of anti-consumption, being transparent, being compassionate, and as I keep saying, being the change you want to see in the world, I just don't feel like AdSense, ad placement, merchandising, product placement, or product sponsorship are options that I can consider to support ALifeLearned, because that's not what ALifeLearned is about. Which is why I've never activated the monetization on any of my videos, though I have heard that YouTube still does put ads on videos and just doesn't give the YouTuber any of the revenue if they don't monetize. So if anyone does see any ads on my videos, please do let me know in the comments, as I'm not actually aware myself and I don't personally try to impose them on you. But anyways, in terms of other options that came up through my research of earning on YouTube, there was streaming, but that's generally only 30 cents per 1,000 views or something like that. I'm not sure how accurate those numbers are, but I do know that it's very much like ad revenue, where it's quite minuscule and I can hardly get 10 people to watch me while streaming, so definitely not an option for small YouTubers. Furthermore, I don't see any sponsors being interested in me unless they are specifically product sponsors, and again, I don't feel like that's an option. And when it comes to networks, I have actually received a number of offers, but they all want you to monetize so that they can take some of your revenue from your AdSense. So again, it doesn't feel like an option I can consider. So in the end, this brought me to a final idea that the Vlogbrothers actually mentioned back in 2013 with their introduction of Subbable, which many of us are aware was bought out by Patreon. But the idea behind it was crowdfunding, in which people pay what they want to who they want because they can afford it. It's an overall cultural shift of paying not because you need to, but because you appreciate the content being put out and because you can afford it and care that those who can afford it can also have access to it as well. This idea seems perfect for ALifeLearned because it's transparent as heck and you're helping support without having to buy anything that you really don't need. And I've actually been considering starting a Patreon account for ALifeLearned for a while now, but I'm honestly afraid that the channel is too small. What do you think? What do you think small YouTubers in my position should do? People who can't consistently put out but eventually want to. People who value quality over quantity in their content. People who truly want to be the change they want to see in the world, sharing awareness, support, compassion, and education while not being too concerned about what they're earning, but still wanting to contribute to society and be able to support themselves. What do you think people in those positions should do? Where do you think I should take my channel next? Do you have any ideas that I haven't mentioned, or do you know anything that might better suit smaller channels beyond Patreon? Please share any and all ideas you might have below. This is a giant brainstorming session amongst my community, as well as anyone else who wants to pitch in terms of where they think ALifeLearned or similar sized channels should take themselves who want to promote positive change while still developing and growing. These positive changes we're trying to promote around increasing compassion and decreasing consumerism require activation energy in order to really get moving, and that takes the involvement of everyone. So please do share anything at all that you can think of, and share this video with anyone else you think might be willing to contribute to the conversation, and let me know if you might be willing to become a patron. I'm still not sure about Patreon, but it is something I am considering. And as always, please do join me again next week, where I try again to share a little something I've learned in life.